Hey, what's up guys? The UFC announced the UFC White House card. I'm sure the card is going to be great. Let's take a look at it. That is terrible. Now let's talk about the 4 reasons why the UFC failed at the White House card. Number 1, they did not make the biggest fight, but I'm going to contribute that to matchmaking. So at first they said one guy was ducking one guy. Turns out that's not true. The manager, Ilia Topuria, said the UFC hit him up within the last 2 weeks. Now, what that tells me is they waited last minute to book the fight. However, Topuria said no because of the money. Islam was hurt. They already knew that because of the Ian Gary situation, blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to say they lowballed Topuria, but they tried to offer him the biggest fight. They didn't try to offer him the biggest compensation. Hunter Campbell never called him back about the offer. Then they end up making the Justin Gaethje fight, which I assume he took a little bit less money for. And also, they did not have their biggest stars on there like John Jones. I know it's a lot of scrutiny with that. He wanted to fight on the White House card. Did he deserve to? No. Is it a big fight? Yes. But I'm going to contribute the matchmaking to being last minute. I know the card is in a few months, it's not nearby. However, you put a date you're going to announce the card and you scramble together the last minute to make those fights happen. I don't think that's good matchmaking, but the UFC has been known for that. Number 2 reason why is because of the number of fights. We are used to having 14 fight cards and they're great, or 12 fights card, or 11 fights. 6 fights is just not cutting it. I understand this is a White House card. However, at least make it 10 fights. You can do some prelims. You could do like some American wrestlers on there. You can do America versus Dagestan or America versus Russia. You can build these storylines. Maybe you can even do like, I don't know, America versus a Chinese fighter. You could do a lot of different options. The UFC did none of that. They have it opening with one guy of Mexican heritage and another guy of Brazilian heritage. Now, granted, I know Steve Garcia is American and, but his last name is Garcia. We know how these people think at the White House. There have been a few more fights and a few more good fights. The fights aren't bad, but for what it was hyped up to be, to me, it's just not cutting it. Number 3, we simply just don't have a lot of American champs. We have no American champs for males, and we have one American champ for the female division, and that's Kayla Harrison, but she's hurt right now. So to me, the card was never going to be like suitable for the people in the White House because they didn't want to see Americans get embarrassed. It was a report a while back that they didn't want to see a lot of Russians on the card, and it's not any Russians on the card. But in the co-main, you got a Brazilian versus a Frenchman. Then in the main event, you got a Georgian and a Spaniard fighting the only American, which is Justin Gaethje. Granted, he is half Mexican, but it's okay because he's looked at as like an all-American fighter. Now, this is the final reason why the UFC White House card did not live up to expectation. Some fighters just don't want to fight in front of Epstein's friends. I mean, look, it's no secret. Epstein's friends, the Epstein regime is in charge. They are in the White House. Some guys just don't want to fight in front of them. It's like a clown show. Nothing wrong with that. That's their personal preference. I wouldn't want to fight in front of them either. Side note. But just some guys don't want to fight in front of them. Could have made a lot better matchups. They anticipated that it's going to be a lot better than it was. I think the UFC Spirit, that card wasn't the best on paper, but it lived up to it because there was a lot of exciting fights. The production was great. Now the UFC White House card can be great. I'm not saying that, but right now it's looking like it was hyped up. The execution has to be perfect. It was hyped up way more than the fight card suggests. So I'm not liking it, but I don't even like the main event or the co-main. I don't like, to me, Arman is the fight to make. To me, Islam is the fight to make. And then the co-main, I mean, it's an interim fight, so be it, whatever, but I don't know. I'm not going to be mad at Aspinall for having an eye injury. But those are my thoughts on the UFC White House card. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.